The fall of the Berlin Wall on November 9, 1989, became the most iconic moment in the collapse of the Iron Curtain.
It symbolized the reunification of East and West Germany and the broader end of the Cold War divide.
The term Iron Curtain refers to the political, military, and ideological barrier that separated the Soviet-controlled countries of Eastern Europe from the Western democracies during the Cold War.
Coined by Winston Churchill in a speech in 1946, the Iron Curtain symbolized the division of Europe and the broader geopolitical struggle between the Communist East, led by the Soviet Union, and the capitalist West, led by the United States and its NATO allies.
This video explores the origins, development, and impact of the Iron Curtain on global politics and society. The origins of the Iron Curtain can be traced back to the end of World War II in 1945. As the Allied forces defeated Nazi Germany, the Soviet Union moved to establish control over Eastern Europe. By occupying these territories, the Soviet Union sought to create a buffer zone against potential future invasions and to spread communist ideology. The term Iron Curtain gained widespread prominence after Winston Churchill used it in his famous speech delivered on March 5, 1946, at Westminster College in Fulton, Missouri.
Churchill stated,
"From Stettin in the Baltic to Trieste in the Adriatic, an Iron Curtain has descended across the continent." This speech highlighted the emerging divide between Eastern and Western Europe and the onset of the Cold War. Following World War II, the Soviet Union established communist governments in Eastern European countries, including Poland, East Germany, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, and Albania. These regimes were heavily influenced and controlled by Moscow, leading to the suppression of political dissent and the establishment of totalitarian systems. In response to the expansion of Soviet influence, Western nations, particularly the United States, adopted policies aimed at containing communism.
The Truman Doctrine of 1947 and the Marshall Plan were key elements of this strategy.
The Truman Doctrine promised support to countries threatened by communism, while the Marshall Plan provided economic aid to rebuild Western European economies, thereby reducing the appeal of communism. One of the most tangible manifestations of the Iron Curtain was the Berlin Wall, erected in 1961.
This physical barrier divided East and West Berlin and became a powerful symbol of the Cold War.
The wall prevented East Germans from fleeing to the West and stood until it was torn down in 1989, marking the beginning of the end of the Iron Curtain.
The Iron Curtain was a focal point of Cold War tensions, leading to numerous crises and confrontations.
The Berlin Blockade 1948 to 1949, the Hungarian Uprising 1956, the Prague Spring 1968, and the Cuban Missile Crisis 1962 were significant events that underscored the volatility of East-West relations.
The division of Europe resulted in stark economic and social disparities between the East and West.
Western Europe experienced significant economic growth and prosperity, partly due to the Marshall Plan and the development of democratic institutions. In contrast, Eastern Europe faced economic stagnation, limited personal freedoms, and repressive political regimes.
The Iron Curtain also represented a cultural and ideological divide.
Western Europe and the United States championed liberal democracy, capitalism, and individual freedoms, while Eastern Europe was characterized by state control, collectivism, and a single-party communist system.
This ideological divide influenced everything from media and education to art and everyday life.
The Iron Curtain began to crumble in the late 1980s as political reforms and popular movements gained momentum in Eastern Europe.
Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev's policies of glasnost openness and perestroika restructuring encouraged greater political freedom and economic reform.
These changes, coupled with mounting public discontent, led to a series of peaceful revolutions in Eastern Europe.
Poland, the Solidarity movement led by Lech Walesa, played a crucial role in pushing for political change, resulting in semi-free elections in 1989 and the eventual establishment of a non-communist government. Hungary opened its border with Austria in May 1989, allowing thousands of East Germans to flee to the West, a significant breach in the Iron Curtain.
The fall of the Berlin Wall on November 9, 1989, became the most iconic moment in the collapse of the Iron Curtain.
It symbolized the reunification of East and West Germany and the broader end of the Cold War divide.
The Velvet Revolution in November 1989 led to the peaceful transition from communist rule to a parliamentary republic.
The Iron Curtain was a defining feature of the Cold War, representing the ideological, political, and physical divide between the Soviet-controlled East and the Western democracies. Its establishment created significant tensions and conflicts, shaping global politics for nearly half a century.
The eventual fall of the Iron Curtain, marked by a series of peaceful revolutions and the dissolution of the Soviet Union, transformed the geopolitical landscape and ushered in a new era of international relations. Understanding the history and impact of the Iron Curtain is essential for comprehending the complexities of the Cold War and its enduring legacy in contemporary global affairs.